Okay, we are back. I think we can just get right into it. We know why we're here. For those that are listening, the viewership, this is our emergency episode. As you know, in the past, we've done these before. We feel like it's pertinent. We feel like it's a topic that really needs to be addressed quickly. We touched on this topic a lot throughout our recording process, specifically episode 76 of Grassroots Podcast. R. Kelly, better known as Robert. That's what we address him as. I mean, the documentary is chilling. It's a number of things. So I guess we're going to tackle a lot of that today. And then also we're going to get into just some of the psyches and some of the things that I think we all picked up on while watching this. All right, so I mean, before we go ahead, again, as always, this is Brandon, Killabh.
Erin Ashley Simon.
I'm regular Nas.
I'm Wilson.
All right, and you know, normally y'all know to subscribe. We do all that shit, but that's not really important right now.
Let's get into it.
You know what? Like watching it, like going into it, I felt like I thought it was going to be one of those cheesy Lifetime specials. Right, like I didn't know the severity of it until I think it was E. You told me who directed this.
Dream Hampton. When I knew it was Dream Hampton, I was like, no, this is going to be very thorough. That's an OG journalist right there. Yeah, very thorough.
Once I saw that name, my perspective of what I was anticipating to view changed dramatically. But still, I still don't think I was prepared. I don't think a lot of people were prepared for all of that. Right. So I mean, as the shit starts, you know, we can start with just Aaliyah. Obviously, that's been public knowledge for quite some time. Like, the only thing that was shocking for me about it, and that's shocking right now, are two things. One, maybe it was just me. I didn't know that Aaliyah was allegedly pregnant by him. Did y'all know that? Because I didn't know that.
No, I didn't. I mean, we knew about the marriage license and stuff
I knew about that.
The pregnant stuff and what happened allegedly happened to tour bus? No. Yeah. I didn't hear anything about that.
So there's a few things for me that bother me. Number one, let's talk about the security guard, the tour manager dude. I gave the tour manager nigga a lot of credit starting out because he seemed like the only legitimate one out of all of these people that came on. Like, you could tell that he was really angry about the whole Aaliyah and R. Kelly shit. He felt away, and he said he did question him about it. So I was giving him a pass. And then as the story starts to, you know, progress, he then starts to talk this shit about how he felt so bad, but he then goes and forges documents so they can get married. He's then at the wedding reception. He's then seeing Aaliyah's face filled with nothing but anguish and a worrisome face, and said, you know, I knew she wanted to talk to me, but I failed her. Like, and he was already older, you could tell, because he looks older now, but like, how do you let some shit like that ride with a little girl? Like, I don't get it.
Money, fear. There's a lot of things that people do, and especially when it comes to this industry, right? That there are people that fear sometimes more of the financial security of their family, more so than what's happening to a child. Mm-hmm. You know, there's been so many different instances within not just music, but just overall Hollywood entertainment. And we've seen some of it come out with Harvey Weinstein. We've seen some other people that there have been children that were not protected. And there have been so many people that either seen it, have had an inkling about it here. Okay, before we even get into that, let's start off with just this industry in general, right? People talk in this industry. It's not just, people don't just hear in the big circles. People like myself and Brandon, we hear stuff too. There's a lot of things about different artists, athletes, different celebrities. We hear a lot of these alleged things. So no one is truly super innocent when it comes to the inner circle, because if it can leak out like that, then they have either heard, like that one person said, that one person who was masked in episode, I think it was 5 or 6. I think it's a she. She said we all heard it.
That was chilling for me. Her being in that inner circle.
Like, I don't think she was super inner. She was more like, I think she was kind of like close to inner circle, but not fully in.
Well, no, I think she was in the inner circle and then started to get pushed out because a lot of she started to fill in a lot of the blanks.
Yeah.
Like, and I know we're fast forwarding a little bit, but she was the same person that said, "Hey, R. Kelly is powerful. He's paying all of these people. He's paying off families. He bought out the cops in Atlanta. Like, that's why he would do certain things. Like, there was a method, and he said that." His team, a lot of the team members that he had around him, obviously they knew what was happening. They were helping him arrange all of this. And you just look at just what people will give up for money and fame and power.
But also some of them feared him, like truly feared him, I think, too. Yeah. And I think that's something that we have to keep in mind, too. I personally don't think that everyone's decision was made off of cash. This was a guy who literally said he was going to kill someone or allegedly was going to kill someone because they found out. Yeah. And when you're on such a high pedestal as someone like him and as high as an artist, you can get everything's at your disposal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was allegedly paying off cops. He's allegedly paying off a lot of people. So I can see how fear could be implemented and added into this equation for some people. Now, some people, like you said, cash makes people do dumb, crazy shit. But there are some people I feel like were just truly just afraid. And didn't know who or where or what to do into this situation.
The other thing that is alarming to me from the start is the brothers. The brother that was locked up. Bruce's name. Bruce, for me, was really, really, like, I got sick to my stomach. Like, honestly. Like, to hear a grown man that's already incarcerated in state property gear, no Beanie Siegel. He's there already locked up, and one of the statements that he makes is, everyone has a preference. I happen to like older women. He likes younger women. I don't see what the problem is that you guys have with my brother. That, for me, was very, very, very telling. For me, that sets up what his foundation is at home. What also sets up the just him, R. Kelly, from a kid, is him being molested by his sister. Allegedly. I know it was allegedly by his sister, then it was allegedly by a next door neighbor. And even with seeing all of that, and even with hearing him speak about it and how he defended when his younger brother came to tell him that he was molested, he didn't even believe it. I think he was already brainwashed from a child to think that molestation and taking advantage of someone was normal.
I'm kind of like dumbfounded, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
both of you, because I'm thinking and I'm thinking back to episode 76 when Brandon said he was sick and you said he was sick, and I was defending the sickness. Yeah, because he was one of my favorite R&B artists. Yeah, okay, I came in the episode singing in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So, like many of fans who fell in love with his music, to know that he's a monster like that, for him to exercise that power and control over those females, is disturbing, And when I hear his brother's a piece of crap also, Bruce. Mm-hmm. I hear a protector. I see somebody looking out for their little brother, no matter
instinctively.
Yeah, instinctively, no matter the circumstances. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with him. Yeah, I don't think anybody here agrees with him, but that's what I see. Mm-hmm. I see Robert as he's a victim who makes other victims. Yeah, mm-hmm. Who victimizes.
Hurt people.
And it's terrible that these women had to go through that. Yeah, it's terrible that Aaliyah had to go through that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
So it's just it's weird to see, because like they said in the show, his songs are connected to certain memories in your life.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into that.
Wait, also one thing before we continue. those who are molested, it does not mean that they will continue the cycle.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's important to say, because although that was important background information to add into the document, I just hope that people aren't taking away that, because he was molested, like, molesters they're gonna go molest other people. No, I actually know people who've been molested. I know people who've been raped. I know people who've been assaulted, and they do not do that shit. Not,
Yeah. Does that take a psychological toll on you? Of course.
Yes.
Does that torment your soul for God knows how long? Clearly, we can see the women that have been affected by it. Of course. I don't think that should be an excuse, and I don't know that people are making it an excuse. I just feel like people are saying, well, because this happens, this could happen too. I also know people that were sexually assaulted. Like, they're great people. You know what I mean? They didn't let that get to them. I just think that when you let it get to you and you don't address it, it festers, and then that turns into a whirlwind of things.
It can turn to a lot of different things. Everyone deals with everyone has different coping mechanisms. Everyone deals with things differently. Some people go into drugs and all this other stuff. Some people go to therapy, and some people don't. And there are people who've been molested that do molest others. But I just want to make it very, 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 very clear to those who are listening that just because someone's molested does not mean that they are going to continue the cycle.
Yeah.
I think that's super important that we have to point out in this episode.
Definitely. You know who really pissed me off a lot throughout this whole shit?
Sparkle?
Not Sparkle, but a little bit. We'll get to Sparkle. The guy Craig. You remember who Craig is? Craig is the guy, the engineer guy, producer guy. He had the glasses, light-skinned guy.
Who walked in? He's like, "There's a bunch of girls here."
Did anyone else get annoyed as fuck by him as he walks into all of these unusual circumstances and says, "Hey, there's a studio full of young girls and I'm seeing them dance around. That's odd. Hey, I came to your studio and there's a bedroom there and there's girls in each one of these bedrooms that you have in the studio.
That's odd.
But that's odd." Hey, when we would go record, he would bring up these little girls and they'd be all around us in the stage. That's odd. Like, nigga, how many odd moments do you have to have until you start to realize that, hey, you're dealing with a fucking pedophile?
Like, when the money's coming in, everybody turns a blind eye.
That's the sick shit about just power and just people in the industry, or just people in general. People are likely to turn a blind eye because of someone's star, because of what they can do for you.
Self-preservation.
They started that, turning action when he was visiting high schools. He wasn't even that big. And everyone knew that this grown-ass man was going to high schools, and they said everyone knew, but people just didn't care.
I'm gonna tell y'all a story too that I just heard from someone. But it's sick when a nigga puts out 12 play and then goes to your high school, your local high school, goes to your local mall to go pick up little 17-year-old girls. Like, that's crazy to me.
So the thing is, right, here's my issue that I go back to Sparkle. The young lady in the beginning, she had her hairstyle switched up. She was like Aaliyah's friend. She had the cornrows.
The dancer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the beginning, episode 1, she goes, "Yeah, I met R. Kelly when I was 14, 15. I was a backup singer." Then fast forward to when she was introduced to Aaliyah or something like that. She says, "Yeah, well, Sparkle was there from the beginning. Sparkle was a backup singer before I was there." So Sparkle knows you're there from Jump Street. You're a backup singer from Jump Street, and then you still bring your niece around.
Here's my thing. If we're going to jump ahead, let's jump ahead a little bit. There's a few people that I do sympathize with them, because this is a lot. But again, I can understand how circumstances could deter them, and I'll explain. Sparkle, the other woman, there was an older woman, dark skin woman. She was on part 2 or something. The
35-year-old.
The 35-year-old.
Oh, was that the DJ? Not the DJ. The radio person.
The radio person.
Oh, she was 33 when
30.
she met.
Yeah, she's like 33.
When
Right.
she met Robert.
They both knew what was happening. And the only reason I say that is because by this time, when all of these allegations are out, they're working with him.
Yeah.
Sparkle had an inclination.
She was there from the beginning.
And I feel like I understand, like, hey, he's grooming me, he's making me this person. I want you to be a part of it, but you had to have seen the turmoil that was being caused with all of these young women around you. And she made mention of a number of times where she would see these young ass women around and thought it was odd.
Well, didn't Sparkle have to know that he was married to Aaliyah before that?
Well, that was the other thing.
That's a clear
She's there
sign
from the
right
beginning.
there.
That was my
it's
thing.
honestly a lot of, well, not a lot, but some of the situations is a case of, oh, it's not gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
Like,
But that was the common theme. I feel like the episodes should have been named "It Won't Happen to Me." They all did y'all find how?
The thing is, though, she brought her niece into it.
Well, that was the other thing.
You know what I'm saying?
but she even said, she's like, I didn't think it was gonna happen,
Yeah.
because she herself did not encounter certain things that she's saying.
But the niece is
So she
still
assumed.
around.
The niece is still around, but that's the other thing. The niece is now brainwashed. They haven't seen her in 3 years. Like they don't like it's a lot. Think about it. He's one of the master manipulators.
He's the Pied Piper.
Yeah. And that was the other thing, which I felt like it was a slap in the fucking face. And that's where we just have to do a better job of just researching. Not us. I'm just saying, just people in general. Pied Piper was a nigga that would lure little girls and children out of a village to never be seen ever again.
Man.
Like that's sick.
And he embraced that nickname too.
That's sick.
That's crazy.
It's sick.
That's his mind, and that's his sickness. That I'm gonna flaunt it. And I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing.
Like,
I'm gonna
it's
tell you,
sick.
you're not gonna touch me. Right now, he thinks he's Teflon Don. That, as they said.
Well,
in the documentary.
even as they opened the documentary, we saw that it happened like March to something. He was like, it's too. He says, "Too late to catch me. You can't catch me now. You should have caught me
30 years ago.
30 years.
He's
like
a
what?
narcissist. He's a narcissist. It's very similar with how, like, you know how, I mean, this is a little bit different, but I'm just going to explain. You know how there were certain serial killers that literally would be sending letters to the cops like, oh, let me give you guys a hint. Let me give this. He's literally been giving hints in music and things he's saying in interviews. We're talking about a teenager. How old are we talking about?
Now,
Are you kidding me?
Here's my issue with, now I see people say like, oh, these women are naive. They were young. It's just 17, 18. I'm not talking about the 13 and the 14-year-olds. I'm talking about 17, 18, 19. They're young and naive. They didn't know what they were doing. So what's the medium if I'm watching TLC I Am Jazz about a trans person who cuts off their genitalia at 17 and makes that life choice? So you're telling me that this person has the understanding and wherewithal to make this life choice, and I'm going to allow this, but this 17-year-old over here doesn't know that she shouldn't be in this situation. I'm trying to find a medium. I'm not saying that these women, I'm not trying to blame them at all. I don't want to get that misconstrued.
So here's my thing. The thing that comes into play is when you talk about, I guess, sex changes and things of that nature at a young age. Me personally, I feel like, and I could be totally wrong. This isn't. I don't know. I don't have that feeling. But if I'm on the other foot, when you're going through those types of transitions in your life, you can feel it. Like you know when you're out and about, you know you don't feel right internally. You know that something is off. So you take care of it, or you handle it however you see fit.
Right.
The difference is with a victim, you're already damaged. They said that his favorite thing to do was to target parents and children that were weak-minded, that couldn't stick up for themselves. So what he would then go do is, okay, we're going to take advantage of this. I'm going to exploit this. I'm going to bring out something and mold you into the person that I want to be. Those people at that time are already broken. They don't have a good structure. And then on top of it, you have the master manipulator that is Robert in your brain. And then to add the ultimate caveat, these people are fans of you, and you're older. You're seasoned at this point.
It's the responsibility of Robert as an adult to be the one that says, I'm not going to do this.
100%.
That's why he's sick, because he is going to go ahead and do this. Because even so, like 17, 18, 19, although that is now you are, when you're past 18, you are considered legally an adult, does not mean that you are mentally an adult or thinking the same way as some of these older adults.
Yeah.
You still, there's not mentally, it's not like when you turn 18 that all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, my brain I'm an adult. I'm gonna think like an adult now. Like no, like it's, we've like, and even now in this context, right? We all did stupid stuff when we were 18, 19, 20 and all that stuff. And some people it takes longer. Some people are able to mature faster in terms of the mental capacity. But no matter what, he is supposed to be an adult who's supposed to make the right decisions and say to himself, this person is 20 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
This is not right. This person is a kid, a child. This is not right. I think that what some people are missing, that they're talking about the girls, is that he's a grown-ass fucking man.
Yeah.
It's just sick what he's doing.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I think he did. I don't care. I'm gonna say I think he did this at this point. But it's sick. It's sick and disgusting. And I think that the bigger discussion we have to have is, as a society, why are we continuously allowing these things to happen, especially when it comes to people in higher positions? Because R. Kelly's not the only one.
Well, it's like not what Nas said. It's the part of society where we hold on to these moments. Right, we hold on to 12 play. We hold on to Step in the Name of Love, of what we thought that these types of records meant. And then when you get the backstory to them, it's chilling. Like, you know what was really, really, like, it really, really bothered me when I first heard it and knew how the song came about was the You Were Not Alone record, Michael Jackson. That was written about a girl that he had just gotten pregnant and had a miscarriage, and that girl was 15.
17.
Or whatever. I don't care.
She's still young, yeah.
Like, really think about that. Really think about that. He wrote a record, gave it to Michael Jackson, and the inspiration came from a fucking miscarriage from one of the girls that he held captive.
Does that ever I guess this is a curious question. Does that ever, when you heard that, did that make you think like, damn, like now some of these songs that I love, like, and these other writers wrote it for the artists, like, where was their inspiration from? Like, did you guys think about that? Like, I'm thinking about some of my favorite songs and how other writers wrote for them, and I'm thinking in my head, like, damn, if that's where that inspiration came from, like, I'm wondering where this inspiration came from. Or, you know, I'm not saying that the inspiration was bad or good or anything, but it could be a culmination of different things. We don't know, and I'm just like, I don't know. That's just what I kind of just started diving into.
My brain went fucking everywhere. The main place my brain personally went was, all of you need to be held accountable. All of you. Anyone in close proximity, if you've made music with him, if you've done business with him, especially for a long period of time, you had to have been aware. Like,
yep.
There's no way you were not aware or had some sort of inclination, or like
or
Craig,
her talks.
or Craig, or the rest of these
happens.
people where you've seen these little situations happen. You say, that's odd. You had to have known something. And just like you said,
people talk in this industry.
People fucking talk.
Everyone hears it. You hear so much shit.
Everything. To the civilian, I'll call you guys, that aren't privy into music and you don't have connections, you don't do all that, you probably wouldn't know unless you're one of the savvier people. But if you're
or you have friends who are in the industry.
or if you know what I mean. But if you're in the industry, you hear things.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things that you hear and you turn a blind eye to for whatever reason may be.
That's a societal problem. This is bigger than Robert Kelly.
Yeah.
This is a society as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So again, let me make this abundantly clear, man. R. Kelly's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He was my favorite artist, R&B artist.
Mine too.
But this guy, he's a monster. If these allegations and assertions come out to be true, he's a monster. And as Wilson told me on the ride over here, he needs to be castrated.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can't help himself. He's compulsive. If you're going inside the courtroom for a trial for a statutory rape charge, and you look at a teenage girl and say, "Hello, my name is Robert," you're compulsive.
Yo,
that's in you. You can't help. You're a monster. You can't help but do. You need to be castrated.
Let me ask y'all a question, and I thought about this a lot.
And Wilson, you can speak up.
Oh no, man, you guys are doing a great job. I agree with everything that you all are saying. So
Okay.
I'm with you.
How did y'all feel about the girl in the court, the super fan, the young girl that followed the case and you know, he met her at the courthouse, they exchanged information, whatever the case may be. I read a tweet from someone, and I thought it was interesting, and I just thought about the psyche, and I wanted to bring it here. Do you think some of these women were victimized out of pure curiosity to see if all of the rumors and allegations about R. Kelly were true? Do you think that they put themselves in this situation, some of them?
I mean, that's a loaded.
I don't.
That's a loaded question.
I know, I don't have the answer to it. I'm just saying. I was stuck when I read it. I said, "Holy shit!" That's I can see a little bit.
What I can say is that for some of them, what caught them was this thing that some of us do when it comes to celebs. We put them on this godly pedestal.
Yeah.
And once we put them on this godly pedestal, it's like we can't see no wrong, or that we cannot criticize them. We've seen that with a lot of different artists. Like there's certain fans where they can't do wrong because they're at this high level. And I think that some of these girls realize that that's how they were perceiving him and that's how they were looking at him. And then they got caught because they themselves did not think like, oh, how can someone who is smiling and super nice to me the first time and this is that, like, how could he be the monster?
Yeah.
It's like that. What's the plant that
that
Venus flytrap?
flytrap.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He sings like, even Miss Info said, after he was found not guilty, I went to his house for the album release. And he sat there in the piano and he played, and his voice is angelic.
I thought that was interesting.
And that's the Venus flytrap. I'm gonna lull you to sleep, and then
I thought that was interesting. I thought Miss Info on there was. I thought she spoke her truths really, really well. And I think that's for some people in media at that time. I think a lot of them were faced with that crossroads of, hey, this is R. Kelly. I'm privy to the Aaliyah shit. I'm privy to all of these allegations, especially if you're in the industry, you know. But I mean, I do have a job to do, and I'm going to try to leave my personal bias to the door to go listen to this album. And then immediately she said she was taken over by the whole thing, him singing, him just being very charming. And then on the exit, she picked that shit right back up because she just started to think about it again.
So where do we draw? So that's the question. Like, where do we draw the line where there's like I know that. Okay, first of all, I know media is supposed to be unbiased, but let's keep it real. Media is not anymore.
Yeah, it's not.
Media is not traditional anymore. It's not traditional facts and information, even though it's supposed to be. But at the same time, it's like it's our responsibility to make sure that this information is known. So where is the line drawn? Like, even if you do critique an R. Kelly song, like, in the same thing, should you be also addressing the fact and make it be known that he's having a case right now? Yeah. In that same thing. Like, I just think that it's like.
Well, that's a good point. So I wanted to bring up this point too. And I can't think of the woman, the interview where Aaliyah and R. Kelly had that first interview where they were, I can't think of her name.
Les?
With Les, thank you. With Les, with Big Les. So,
and the other guy?
And the other guy. I don't even know who that guy was. But I thought it was interesting that I felt like she did her due diligence. That's the one. I feel like when you have a show and when you have a platform, especially like our platform, it's your job to do that. Like, it's certain things that people need answers for. And then there's certain questions that need to be asked. And if you have a platform, you should be doing that, right? So I thought it was great that she finally at least tried to get some answers. And I thought it was very telling. They had on the same outfits. I watched that interview over again. I thought it was weird and very interesting, and you could already kind of see the control between Aaliyah and R. Kelly, because he would often, every time she was asked a question, she would often look at him for approval first, or to kind of give some sort of sign that she's answering the question right. Like, even the whole, are you guys an item? And she looks at him, she says, no, that's we're just really close. And she looks at him again and says, like, my best friend, and my only best friend. Like, it was a reassurance, like, all right, I know how I'm supposed to answer this. This wasn't supposed to happen, but I got it. Yeah. And you can see him kind of just laugh it off, but you could see it that he was taken back by it and was making sure that she was answering appropriately. Like, the control has been there for God knows how long.
Yeah, but that goes back to him being a victim.
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife about it, and it's just like, yo, he sees his sister in those women. Mm-hmm. I didn't have control and power over my body when I was younger, but now that I'm older and I have this clout, I have this power, let me show you the type of power, what I can do.
Yeah.
And that's what's sick, man. But again, I keep harping it back. Like, if we got to redefine what a child is, what it mentally. It's a society. This is why I say it's bigger than an R. Kelly. It's a societal issue. Mm-hmm. When the porn industry, the adult film industry, allows you to get in there at 18.
Yeah.
That's an issue. If you're telling me that 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds aren't able to make rational decisions, then we got to do something about voting.
Yeah.
It's a societal thing. If we're in relationships, if you're with your partner, and she introduces you as my man, and you say that's my girl, mm-hmm. that little drip, mm-hmm. that's embedded.
Yeah,
that's my man, and your response is, yeah, that's my girl. It should be that's my woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so, that's the little drips.
Yeah, so you're saying that we should move the goalpost to 21 for everything?
We have to.
Something's got to change.
Yeah,
that's a societal thing.
Cigarettes, strip clubs,
alcohol, like all of that shit. And even if I'm keeping it buck, even at 21, you still don't know shit.
Yeah, you don't.
Like, what I thought I knew at 21, especially with this situation,
no,
I had no fucking clue. Like,
yeah, there's even people older who don't know. And I think that, like, going back to what you're saying, this is a society thing. He's right, because, like, a personal moment time, like, so I entered the entertainment, I entered the media world when I was 16 years old. And even at that time, my mom told me, like, don't use your real name. You have to use a fake name. So I went by Erin Ashley. And so I've even had experiences where there were men who knew my age, but were still doing subtle flirtation comments. Mm-hmm. And I even had one individual who, when they found out I was 17, they had the nerve to say, oh, well, I guess I'm going to wait a year. This is more than just R. Kelly. This is more than just the music industry. Yeah. There are some really sick men who don't see anything wrong with the fact that they're hitting on a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, just because they are 1 or 2 years away from 18. Yeah. That's a little bit of a problem. And I'm not saying that these are like 20-year-olds or 19-year-olds. Like, these are grown men.
Yeah.
That, for me, like, the experience itself made me very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But the fact that like, there are other women that we know who experienced that same thing when they were working in the industry at 17, 16, 15, like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's so wrong.
The other thing that you factor in is, like, even for some of the parents, the other thing that really, really bothered me a lot is the fact that, like, those last parents, I think, what was the name of the last parents?
Jocelyn?
The Gardeners?
Mm-hmm. Clary's.
Clary's, there's another one.
That story, that story for me bothered me because they
three,
brought,
actually.
Yeah, they brought, when that girl started singing, I felt horrible. Like the young girl that mm-hmm. That they still haven't even, she's been missing for 3 years now. Like, I felt horrible. Like, that, you could just tell that girl was innocent. Her innocence has been taken away, and she doesn't even know it. Like, and then your parents are put in a pickle, because I looked at it like, well, yo, why the fuck are y'all at a R. Kelly concert anyway? Like, y'all are old enough to know what's happening. Y'all are paying attention.
You heard the allegations.
And they said that they were fans, but they heard the allegations, but they loved them. They thought that they could separate the music. It could never happen to me. Me personally, I'm never putting my child in that situation. Be mad. Be mad. I don't care. Be mad.
I'm not your friend, I'm your parent.
And that's the other thing. If he brings them in the backstage, now you're waiting 20, 30 minutes, you haven't even seen your kid, and then your kid just comes back. but they had already exchanged. Like it's a done deal. Like I'm never, and I feel bad for them because they obviously know that, hey, the judgment of what they thought they knew about this man and the allegations that they tried to put aside are in fact true, and now they're suffering for it.
And the one thing that got me was when one of the parents was like, he said that they were gonna bring a woman who was from the label to look over. And my thing is, that's the last person I want to have them look, because they work for the label. Yeah. They're gonna be for the benefit of the artist.
Yep.
I'm gonna be that parent that if my child becomes a celebrity, I'm going everywhere with you. I'm not letting you out of my sight. Absolutely not.
Well, even that though, again, that just goes to the craftiness and the sickness into how he created this masterful plan to just take these women. They both said, hey, we had a set plan of, we were uncomfortable with this, but we didn't want to make our daughter really legitimately maybe miss a shot, or we wanted to let our child know that we were there to support. So they took turns.
Yeah.
But
also,
even still, he still was able to manipulate that entire situation, even the sister, just to finally get the goal of taking this young girl.
He's a predator. No different than the over 200 teachers, female teachers that prey on them little boys.
Yeah.
They lull them to sleep.
It's the same thing from that doctor, I think, that was drugging all those young girls.
Same thing as that gymnast doctor. And one thing I want to say quickly, I'm not saying all label people are like that person, but what I am, but I know you guys understand it, but I gotta make that very clear. Not everyone is like that, because we do have friends who work at labels.
Yeah, no.
But at the end of the day, certain people are going to look at artists as business, and they're going to make sure that the business is intact.
Definitely.
So that's just how it is. But yeah, there are and this discussion, like we said, it's not just R. Kelly. There are sick women. Yeah. There are sick men who literally prey on the innocent and children.
Yeah. So
it's disgusting.
I thought about Kanye. I thought about Kanye throughout this whole thing, and I said, yo.
In what way?
The society the past year has gone so hard
on him, but not R. Kelly.
On Kanye, and we've attacked him over his beliefs. Like, really think about this. Mm-hmm. I thought about this a lot, and I'm still not for his beliefs, but I can separate a little bit there now. And the only reason I can separate it a little bit now is simply for the fact that we're crucifying Kanye for his beliefs, political beliefs. Yet R. Kelly is still actively working in the music industry, signed to a label, abducting young women, and he's flourishing, and we've yet to do anything about it. Like, nothing.
He knows, I have a theory that he knows a lot about a lot of people.
Well, that was my other thing, why I felt like a lot of people.
There's a lot of secrets out there.
And Meek said this too. Meek said it too. Meek tweeted something and said, hey, someone, some shit he was doing on Twitter said, ask Meek.
Oh, yeah.
They said, yo, what do you think about the R. Kelly shit? He said, yo, the nigga's sick. Like, I've been done with him, but I'm in the music industry, and you hear things all the time. I've heard some sick shit. I'm not really surprised by this. Yeah. I understand that it's a lot.
We said that. We even hear stuff.
We said that. Little Mo came out and said a bunch of stuff too. Hey, I said this years ago, and y'all tried to get me out of the industry. So I'm not really all that mad that you guys are all outraged now, because these have been signs that a number of people have tried to say for years. Yep. Sparkle, Little Mo, Aaliyah, all of these people.
Again, it's hard for me to get. I empathize with Sparkle because of her niece.
I do too.
And I have daughters.
Yeah.
However, you were there from the beginning.
Yeah.
And when them checks was coming in, you was good. So
she was jaded.
All this, but let's make it clear, though. Even some of your favorites were there early on.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a buck. Some of your guys' favorites were there early. I'm not going to say who, but your favorites were there early.
Yeah.
Or they knew. Let's keep it a buck.
Or had little rumors of their own.
Well, even still, the Dame Dash shit that just came out, I always wondered that. So upon us trying to, obviously intelligently attack this episode today to just provide clarity in our thoughts, I immediately was going to go to the Dame relationship with Aaliyah, and me automatically thinking that somewhere in that relationship, Aaliyah said something, even though I was wrong there, but she only did say that, she said that R. Kelly was a monster, an evil person. But I felt like that was the start or what caused a little bit of a rift between Dame and Hove. And then, what do you know? That clip comes out where Dame said, "Yo, that was an issue for me. That's why you don't see me or any of my my name on any of the Best of the Both Worlds. I wanted to have nothing to do with him because I knew what turmoil he had caused all of these women, and I knew how it affected Aaliyah and her friend, and they could barely talk about it, let alone talk about it at all. So I look at it like, yo,
Dame knew.
Yeah,
he was gonna smash him too.
Yeah." But that's what he said. He said he also felt like she wouldn't open up because she knew that he would handle it.
Yeah.
So I just look at it like, well, damn, all of these people just, for whatever their reasons may be, no one acted and have failed all of these young girls and are still failing them.
Because the entertainment industry is a secret society filled with a lot of secrets. And there are people that don't want to speak up in fear that their own secrets will come out. Yeah. And that's the problem. Mm-hmm. People are more concerned about the bad things they've done and afraid of that coming out than what is wrong and what's at stake at hand.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I think R. Kelly's out of here in in a few years. Either one of his alleged victims that are still living in that house is gonna get him, or drugs or alcohol gonna get to him.
If I'm being honest, I'm worried. I don't know that's gonna happen.
It's because I look at abuse, it. That's the next evolution.
I hear you, but just humor me. He's had how long of a career? 20+ year career. It's 91, right? 91, flourishing and still active today. This nigga just put out a new record on December 23rd.
He's only a few years away from 30. He's a few years away from being in the industry
really
for 30
think about
years.
it. It's sick. And then for the way the whole shit ends is that there's still open cases. The one girl, the dark-skinned girl that I think she was still labeled a super fan or whatever, that got herpes from him and is currently suing him, is still battling it. The other girl, the younger girl, is missing, been 3 years.
Yeah, but
and then there's 2 other girls.
Her mother said on that documentary, "I've been to jail. I have no problem going back."
Wait, no, not the herpes one.
No, not the herpes one.
He's just talking about those.
I know, but contextually,
I
gotta say it.
The girl that's been missing for 3 years.
Yeah.
Shit, and her husband looked at her like, both of us.
They're like, yeah, we're game.
So that leads me to believe that that girl tried to run.
Yeah.
And they brought her back. She got a block away, and they went and yanked her ass and brought her back. That leads me to believe that they're going to get more brazen. That the evolution of an abusive relationship, somebody has to go.
I just don't understand how come no one has hired private investigators. No, like there's so many instances of proof. Proof,
money,
because
NDAs,
and if you they said he's, and I know this is sound really bad, but in terms of him being a pedophile, he's preying on the perfect target for him. Black women who their families are probably not all well off, that he said that, or not he did, but someone in the documentary said that he targets people who are already emotionally and mentally not 100%.
Yeah.
He is very calculating, and he's targeting specific people that he knows that certain people in society are not going to care about, or that those people are not going to have enough money. I mean, look, he paid that girl off. Paid that girl's mom $1,000. $1,000.
Oh, the Spanish girl.
Yeah, after what he did.
But even after the Aaliyah shit, he gave her $100 for a fucking annulment, yo. Like, that's what she was worth.
But that's the narcissism. Like, that's him being narcissistic. You know, it's like he's a monster. I don't at the end of the day, he's a monster, and I'm not even gonna say allegedly because I believe that he's done this shit. I believe he's done this shit. He did it too. Like, so.
And you know what? And I thought about it too. I can't remember who tweeted this. Hopefully I remember by the end of the episode or prior to. But someone tweeted it, and I thought, they were like, why are you so outraged now? You knew about this for years. You know why I felt like it? This hit me harder than me knowing the Aaliyah shit or any of these other allegations is to see the stories in chronological order and to see the impact. Like, I think a lot of people miss these important moments or times like this where they should be standing up to go do something simply because of the fact that you never see the damage that it does. You only just hear the stories and then it's swept under the rug and then you get another hit record and then the wheels just keep turning. You never get a chance to stop and think or see and be like, damn.
Digested.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And see it impacted. So I think to see all of this in chronological order, all of these women have damn near the identical story. Like, to the T. I met you at a young age. I kept you around. I started to brainwash you.
Call me daddy.
I started to have you do
Which is
certain
mad
things.
weird.
I then stripped you from your family. I then started to throw out little testimonial things to you to align with you. And then from there, it's hook, line, and sinker. I have you. Your family will never see you ever again. It's sick.
And I also think it's the fact that all these people that are super close to him, they all just said, oh, we knew. And no one did any. Even like the music teacher was like, yo, she even had a conversation with him.
Yeah. But even the school failed them. That was the other big
Yeah.
thing. The school failed them.
And when they said that, like, they were like, oh yeah, we all knew, but no one cared.
No one cared.
I'm
Y'all
like,
letting a
wow.
grown ass man hide outside of a fucking high school. The music teacher, the principal, the captain of the police force. Y'all all knew, and y'all just let this rock.
And it's crazy because even on Twitter, I saw some people who are from Chicago. They were like, yo, we've all been known this. Like, we
Yeah.
all knew this. And I'm like,
Do you think he got away with like the high school stuff because of what time it was?
What do you mean?
It was like a different time though, because that was like what, early '90s.
Yeah.
It's early '90s, but the thing why
I think today they shut that shit down.
they would have shut
quick.
it down quick, but I thought they should have shut it down then, even with the time, just because all of these important people, the music teacher, the captain, all of these people are saying, yo, he's hanging around the school. It's weird, but all right. Like,
He really got away with everything because of time. That's why you see everything piling up now, and he's really getting hit now.
because
Yeah.
he
He
keeps,
got away with all that shit. That Aaliyah shit, marrying her at 15.
Yeah.
MTV reporting that. Can you imagine that shit happening to artists today?
Yeah.
Social
It's
media.
fucking over.
well, that was the thing. Even when I looked at it, can't think of the guy's name that reported it from MTV, but I looked at that report, and it was very surface. When you look at the report, I don't know, we probably won't have it here, but just go search it. Just go search MTV R. Kelly, Aaliyah break, and the news report itself, it's very surface. There's no real emotion there. When you know what I mean?
And hold on, is there a statute of limitation on forging documents so that
well,
a minor can marry?
that's the other thing. That's the other thing. Why I think it's
Like, there's got to be some legal ramifications for that.
There's a statute of limitation for all laws. Like, it's the same thing where if the double jeopardy. If I commit a murder right now and then I go through the trial and I serve my time, or whatever, or I'm found guilty, and it comes out that, hey, I did do it, you can't hold me accountable for it.
but you can
No,
do.
you
You
can't.
can still do a civil lawsuit
you
though.
can't be charged with the same.
With same trial.
Yeah, you can still do a
But
civil lawsuit.
yeah.
What about forgery? There's a statute of limitation for forgery?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think there's a statute of limitation for everything.
For almost everything.
Almost everything. Yeah.
Almost everything.
It's This is. I think the thing, like,
Let's bring Charlie Sheen up too.
there's a lot.
Bring that
There's a-
motherfucker.
It's not just. That's what I said. It's not just R. Kelly.
African
There's a lot.
Bambaataa. There's a few.
Oh, when my mom was 15,
There's a
and
few.
when my mom was 15 in New York, she told me about the celebrities that were hitting on her, and she told them, "I'm 15, 16. They did not care.
Yeah.
It's disgusting."
Like, and that's the thing, and I don't know if that's ever going to change. And it's, to Naz's point, it's about society. Like, even if you go on Instagram or just see the landscape of music and what visually what it looks like with young girls getting their bodies done, going and auditioning and being on stages and wanting to do things. And I'm not saying that that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? I get it, but at a certain point, where does the adulthood come into? Where does the responsibility of being a professional come into play, where you're dealing with children that really don't know any better, and you're taking advantage of them, and you're taking something from them that they will never, ever be able to get back?
It's also the entertainment industry's fault for trying to make all these young artists, actors seem older than they really are,
Yeah.
and dress older than they really are, and be sexually provocative when they should not be. That contributes to a lot of this, and not just the entertainment industry. It's just it goes. I mean,
Society.
Society.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making these women and even men, I will say men too, seem older than they really are. And then this causes issues.
That was the other thing I thought that was interesting, even with the Big Liz interview, how I could see how it didn't really impact people until after the fact with the R. Kelly and Aaliyah shit, is because you never, back then it was a big thing to hide the artist's age. You know what I mean? So you never knew. Aaliyah looked older. She looked like a older girl. You knew that she was young, but you didn't think that she was that young. And then you had those other girls grooming her and dressing her and having her walk and talk a certain way, having her, present herself.
And the document
as an
saying she was
adult.
18.
And then you have the tour manager forging the document, so you have all your ducks in a row. So there's, you know what I mean? When you go to search a marriage certificate, you're like, oh, she is 18. All right, well, maybe we got to fall back. Maybe we're wrong. Like, there's so many other elements that I do take into consideration when I think about that whole Aaliyah thing. It was never a clear understanding of how old she was until once the marriage document shit came out, that it was a fake. That's when people started to look. But by that time, again, he's already off to the next hit. He's already booming. Like, you're sweeping it under the rug.
But
he's your cash cow.
But even if people realize the age or not, I mean, look at one of the little Kim covers. She was 17 years old, the one with her legs were wide open.
Yeah.
Look at Maya. When Maya came out with that, what's her first single? When she had the little Chinese.
It's All About Me.
She had the little Chinese outfit on.
I can't think of the name.
I'm looking it up right now. Chris, can you look that up?
Yeah.
I think it was with Cisco.
It's All About Me, I think, in the records.
Is that her first single? It's All About Me? She was 17.
Nice. I ain't gonna lie, that was off the rip. That was nice.
Good job. She was 17 in that video.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you see the outfit that she was wearing?
That's what I'm saying. The industry for quite some time, I think. And I think that was a good point that you brought up too, just about like there may be a thin line between the porn industry and the music business as far as grooming,
entertainment, not just music.
or just entertainment when grooming young people and not just women, men too.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of men I'm sure that have been abused and have been.
Corey Feldman talked about it.
Yeah. Everyone said he's crazy.
How there's a bunch of pedophilia in Hollywood, and everybody wrote him off
and said he was crazy and all that, and then all this stuff came out.
And that's it. And once you say somebody's crazy, it's dismissive.
Yeah, it is.
I don't. Oh, you crazy?
Yeah.
You know. Now what? Now you go to even if you look in Japan, they selling high school girls' panties, used panties, in vending machines. This is
sick shit.
This is a societal issue. This is deeper than R. Kelly. This is layers and layers. It's not just R. Kelly. It's not just Chuck Berry. It's not just Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis.
It's mad.
It's a lot of them.
Elvis and Priscilla. They were. Oh my God! It's Elvis and Priscilla.
Yeah, but you think about it. Like you think about it.
He was a teenager. He was in his late 20s.
He was in his late 20s. But you think about it, like you really forget it. A lot of those crazy moments, like for example, Elvis. Like you don't ever hear about that.
He imported a teenager.
Like it's just. At some point, and I think we obviously do a good job of it, especially when covering it. And I think that's important. Is you got to draw a line in the sand when it comes to certain people. Like I said, we've all been on the same page of cancel Robert. Like I'm not listening to his music. Don't be around me listening to music. Like I don't want to hear it.
I ain't stepping in nothing.
Yeah, like don't. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care at this point. And if you're currently even supporting it, you really need to start to look into the mirror.
I really deleted that stuff too.
Yeah, like you have to start to look into the mirror and really, really analyze what you're supporting and what you're backing.
And these things can happen to your mother, your sister, your brother, your daughters, your son. Just because it's not R. Kelly does not mean that there aren't other predators out there that can't do the same. Like, this is why we can't just be like, oh, well, it's R. Kelly, it's a celebrity, it's never gonna happen. No, this shit can happen. It can.
And I'm looking at, if I'm keeping it a buck, I'm looking at you crazy if you could still listen to a lot of these records that were specifically.
If you listen to age ain't nothing but a number.
Yeah, like
you got issues.
I'm looking at
sorry.
you crazy if you
got
didn't say
issues.
you just go put the record on. Well, this is my shit. Fuck that. I'm still gonna play it. I'm looking at you crazy at this point. Yeah, I'm looking at you crazy. I am. I'm looking at you all types of crazy, especially knowing where the song derives from. Like where the direction came for writing that record. Now I get back in the day, and I'm all for moments because me being a music person, there's so much music. Even R. Kelly, there's so many memories I had of R. Kelly. Like I said on Twitter, I sang "I Could Believe I Can Fly" in my fucking graduation.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like
We all watched Space Jam.
Space Jam.
We all
Space Jam
watched it.
is one of my favorite movies just because I was a Jordan fan growing up. You know what I'm saying? I had all of that shit. I don't know that I could ever watch that movie again.
Someone replaced one of his songs in that movie with Chief Keef.
Yeah, that's what.
I was like, that doesn't make it better, but okay.
It don't make it better, but
Yo, damn, I definitely did sing "I Believe I Can Fly."
Everyone did.
I can name you a time. I danced to something else at fucking my high school graduation. I was the Chocolate Factory.
Cookouts. We all heard R. Kelly songs at cookouts.
I definitely in college I was definitely feeling the girl's booty.
Yeah, like I'm just
booty.
listening to like 12 Play was one of my favorite albums, and now I don't think I'll ever be able to listen to that album ever again.
Damn.
I don't think I'll ever be able to listen to that album ever. I don't think I'll
damn
ever
you,
be
Robert.
able to listen to him ever again.
God damn it.
Okay.
At least knowingly. Like, because I know he's still writing. Like I said, and like we keep saying, he's still very active in the
Yeah.
music business. He's still writing records for people.
And if his music comes up in the mall, it's not like we can change it.
Yeah, like
But we're gonna not.
so. I mean,
But we're not actively.
Yeah, like me personally, I'm not actively searching. I'm not actively streaming. I'm not actively supporting. And if I could speak to those women, which I've already reached out to a few of them, I plan to help support them because I believe it. I believe it. I do.
Yeah.
You're not telling me. Someone has always said to me, if you keep hearing the same thing over and over and over again about a person, there's got to be something.
That's what I said in one of our episodes. If it's over and over and over, and you keep hearing it, and there's more and more, there has to be some truth to it at a certain point.
It's got to be something, man. It's got to be something. You're not telling me that all of these stories are identical to the T, from the courting to the inappropriateness to how the business was dealt with the families, to how these girls were stripped from their homes.
Yeah.
And now you just don't know what's even happening with them.
And on top of that, someone like Dream Hampton, I know she did her due diligence.
Brilliant.
She did her due diligence.
And that's why she wasn't worried.
For those who don't know who Dream Hampton is Dream is one of the OG journalists. She was interviewing all of your favorite big rappers, Biggie, all those people.
All of them.
She was one of the most renowned hip hop journalists and writers. So for her to be on, that's why I was like, when I saw her name on it, I was like, oh, this is going to be very thorough.
Yeah.
This is going to be very, very thorough, just based off of what I know. Of course, if there's industry stuff that I don't know about, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But what I know that she is very thorough and is a true journalist.
Yeah.
So, or a writer, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't have nothing else to say about it. For the families, the victims, even the people that are still dealing with it, even if and
people who are triggered by this too.
Yeah, like,
this was a lot.
This was a lot.
It's a lot.
And I sympathize. I mean, I've never been through it. Obviously, I've never been through it, and I can't even imagine what it feels like. But me viewing it, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So, I encourage people to don't ignore signs. Don't ignore signs. I was telling you guys a story about a friend that I went to school with, and I had heard some just wild shit where I could have stepped in, but I'm like, nah, I'm cool. Like, it's certain things with certain people that you should never ignore, and you should do your best to just overcome certain negative actions, I'll say.
And do what you can to help if it's something that is wrong.
Yeah. And so for the families for that are affected, the victims of it, even again, like I said, even for those that are currently going through it, you're definitely in our prayers. We'll definitely support you guys, and we just have to do better. We just got to do better. Like, even now thinking about it, like as I play it over, and I'm such a big fan of documentaries. For me, this was like watching a serial killer documentary, like seeing someone methodical, just rip apart people's lives and still post videos on Facebook, talk about, you know, it's too late to catch me, talking about, you know, the government is after me and, hey, there's nothing wrong with me having these underage relationships. Like, it's we just got to do better. We just got to do better.
And seek therapy if you need it.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if you're not one of the girls who are in this situation, there are women out there who have been sexually abused, molested, and even men. I'm not even going to say women either, or alone, but men too, anyone. Seek therapy if you need it, because that's super, super important. You don't want these things to fester into other things or damage your life, because your life is not over.
Definitely.
So please, if you need therapy, please go and seek therapy. And we're gonna drop some links, some therapy resources for you guys. So if you're watching this and you also get triggered, or there's something in there that just brings up memories, please go and click on the links.
Yeah, and even still, like I'm saying, I'm just looking at things differently. You can reach out.
Yeah,
even
that
if you just need an ear.
Yeah.
I'd rather lend an ear and a little bit of my time in hopes that maybe that will help someone get through something or just feel better about themselves. Know you're loved, know you're cared about. The world is full of monsters, but within this world of monsters, there are still good people, and we support you. I guess we out. Brandon, Killabh, all.
Erin Ashley Simon.
Regular Nas.
All right, Wilson.
Oh, and we're dropping an episode on Tuesday too.
Oh, yeah.
We are dropping an
We're still
episode.
dropping on Tuesday, too, so you guys will see that. And we out.
Grassroots.